let's have a look at the List.distinctBy function, which allows us to select specific elements based on some criteria that we specify for ourselves. So we would normally use this when we have some larger list and we want to just pick selected elements of those. So for example, the case we're going to be looking at in this video is when we have a list and we only want one even number and one odd number. So how do we select that from a large list? That's what we can do with the help of this function. So to see how we would do this, let me define a function to check whether or not any number is even, and then we'll use that to sort or pick out the first odd and the first even number of a list. So isEven is going to be a function of x, and we're going to let that be whether or not x modulus 2 is equal to 0. So if it's an even number, this is going to come out to be true. If it's an odd number, then it's going to come out to be false. The next thing we're going to define is an input list. So we're going to say input is equal to some list. Let me actually copy paste a list example. We'll just throw in some random numbers here, but I don't want to write it out. So here we go. A number of, well, just a large set of numbers. What we're going to do then is we're going to say even and odd. So let even and odd. This is our variable that we're defining now. And we're going to send our input function to this List.distinctBy function, like that. So we need to provide some criteria here. So we've provided the input now. We're saying we're sending this to the distinctBy function, and it takes a distinct element based on some identifier, and we need to provide what the criteria for selecting distinct function is going to be. And for that, we're going to use the isEven function. So when we apply the isEven function to each element here, it's going to project it to either a value of true and false, and we're going to pick the first element from true and the first element from false and create a new list based on that. So if I execute this, let's see what we get. Okay, you can see here that we get the numbers 6 and 1. The reason for that is that 6 is an even number, so we pick that. 1 is an odd number, so we add that to the list. Then we get to 2. 2 is an even number. Well, we already picked an even number and put it in our list, so we're not going to put this. Same thing for 3, and same thing for all the numbers that follow this. So you can see that we select the two first numbers in this list that we provided. We can also sort this if we want, so we would just send this to list.sort, and that would make it a bit prettier for us. So we get 1 and 6 now instead.